Well, the Lord woke me up one night with a booming bass voice. Once in my life, I've heard a booming bass voice. He said, "Get up, I'm going to teach you how to hear my voice." And I got up, went over to my office, and he took me to Habakkuk. Habakkuk in England. It's Habakkuk in the U.S. Habakkuk. And he showed me chapter 2, verses 1 and 2. Habakkuk's a man who can hear the voice of God. And he did 4 things to hear God's voice. And he said, "Mark, do these 4 things." Habakkuk, he said, "I'm going to go to my guard post." So key number 1 is to go have a place where you get alone with God. You can call it a prayer closet, soaking room, whatever. You just need to get alone with God, still your own thoughts, so that you can tune into the flow and the river of God. Okay?
Right.
So that was key number 1, and it takes it's a little bit of a challenge to do that, because my thoughts say I'm not going to become still. So you need to help them. And key number 2 is the best way to help still my mind. Habakkuk said, "I'm going to keep watch to see what he's going to speak to me." And I said, "Man, what do you mean? Why don't you say I'm going to listen to hear what he's going to speak? I mean, why are you trying to see? Because when I pray, I don't try to see anything. I'm trying to hear something. It's not working, but I'm trying to hear." And what the Lord showed me is that vision is a very important part of prayer. And I should use vision. And I should look for vision. And I should ask for vision. And I've never looked for vision. I never asked for vision. I mean, Jesus said, "Keep watch, and pray." And Habakkuk kept watch to see. And Daniel over and over, he said, I kept looking. So the Lord had to teach me, "Mark, you should take the eyes of your heart and start looking in the spirit realm. And particularly what you're supposed to look at is Jesus." Because the Bible clearly says, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith. Hebrews 12, 1 and 2. So he said, look for Jesus. He's present with you. He's right next to you. And so I teach people, okay, fine, just picture Jesus right there next to you. He's Emmanuel. He's God with you. Go for a walk along the Sea of Galilee if you want to. Enter a gospel story. Meet with Jesus. I mean, use the eyes of your heart. They're given to you by God. He wants to fill them. He's commanded you to fix your eyes upon him. And I never once did that. In the first 11 years of my Christian life, I never once took the eyes of my heart and said, "I'm going to look in the spirit realm and see what's there." Never once.
Right.
And so I repented, and I said, okay, I'll look for vision. And I entered a Bible story, which was Jesus and the Samaritan woman at the well. And I'm picturing the scene as I read it. And most people, when they read a Bible story, will picture it. So I'm picturing Jesus sitting there, and I'm sitting there, and I put myself in next to him. I'm sitting next to him. Now I see Jesus with long flowing white robes and sandals on his feet and loving gentle countenance just reaching out to me. I didn't see his face, and most people don't see his face, especially when they start journeying. Later on, sometimes people do. And so I'm sitting there next to Jesus in a comfortable setting, gospel story, and I'm picturing the scene, and I asked the Holy Spirit to take it over. I said, "Holy Spirit, would you anoint this?" And he did, and the scene came alive. Jesus gestured, and thoughts began to light up on my mind, which was key number 3. God said, "Fixing your eye." He said, Habakkuk said, "I'm going to keep watch to see what he's going to speak to me." So key number 3 is, what does his voice sound like? And his voice sounds like spontaneous thoughts that light upon your mind. So here I am in the middle of a Bible story, picturing the scene. It comes alive with the life of the Holy Spirit, and spontaneous thoughts begin to flow. And I begin to write down the spontaneous flowing thoughts, and I end up with a paragraph or 2 or 3.
Okay.
All right? So quiet myself down, fix my eyes on Jesus, tune to spontaneity, and the 4th key is in verse 2. God says to Habakkuk, inscribe the vision. What you're seeing, begin to write it.
Write it down.
So this flow kicks in, and pictures begin to flow, and ideas begin to flow, and you begin to write. And that simple act of writing allows the flow to expand. So instead of me testing and analyzing right away and cutting the whole thing off, I can write in childlike faith for 5, 10, 15 minutes. And as long as I'm in faith, the flow continues. It's when I start judging that I cut the thing off. So those who come to God must come in faith. So by journaling, I can stay in faith for 10 minutes. I can journal for 10 minutes, and I can get a page from God, which is exciting, because I couldn't get anything from God. Now I can get a page every single morning, because I can do this every single morning of my life.
So what are those 4 keys again, Mike?
All right, so the 4 keys, if we want to get it down to 4 words, it would be stillness, vision, spontaneity, and journaling. Those would be the 4 keys.